I don't really have a very aggressive voice by nature. I can't really scream. I can't make my voice super raspy as much as I try to add that character to it. I can't. And this is one of the songs I really wanted to try to push that, because these lyrics are so intense. I've been dealing with demons lately. Do you really think you can save me? Singing lyrics that heavy and that intense, I really wanted to stretch my voice. It's the raspiest you'll probably hear my voice get unless I progress further. The ending of this song actually it means a lot to me in the sense that it's the first thing I've ever done for Vice and Virtue, period. Before I was in this band, they had a previous vocalist they were recording with, and I've been friends with Nick and Will for a long, long time. I've known them for years outside of this band, just my previous band. We kind of knew each other, and I've never sang before. I've never been known as a vocalist, so I was never considered for anything really, because I didn't really put myself out there as a vocalist. So Nick actually heard on my SoundCloud, one of my songs that I recorded at a different studio, and he was kind of blown away. He never knew that I could sing. He's only known me as a guitarist. So he's like, man, would you want to hypothetically, record stuff for my band? So I'm like, oh, sure. So he sent me a song, and it was The Ocean of Trees.
The Ocean of Trees, the title itself is the name of the suicide forest in Japan. And what the song is more or less about is there was a point when I was going through a hard time, when I was struggling a lot with addiction and alcoholism, that I completely lost touch with reality. I had no idea, who I was as a human being, what I was doing, my purpose in life. My train of thought was completely it was absurd. It was just absolutely asinine, and I wasn't thinking straight. And there's parts of The Ocean of Trees that are really intense, and they sound cluttered, but what it's meant to do instrumentally is to provide that sense of panic and that sense of insanity and that sense of helplessness. It's actually, to my knowledge, I believe it's the longest song on the album. There's a line in it that really stuck out to me, and still sticks out to me, is I'm an ocean of emotion, but my problems aren't bound in skin. What I meant by that was that I was completely devoid of having a soul. I know that's like a really bold statement, but I truly believed for a while that my soul was either on vacation, knocked out in a coma, and it got to such an extreme point that I could not look myself in the mirror as a human being. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't make eye contact with myself. Stayed away from mirrors. I felt absolutely insane. I really, I went through a lot to get to the point that I'm at today, and I think that The Ocean of Trees is all about the craving for something better, not as far as a human being or as anything material goes, but as far as like a better state of being, a better state of mind. The struggle that it is to live with something like that every day, to not be proud of something you did, because I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of, and I'll never be proud of, but I also don't regret them because they shaped me into the individual I am today.
This album is so much more than just catchy music. It's so much more than just someone venting about a love song, which is one of my favorite parts, because there is no real love song on this album. It's not a song about someone's significant other. It's songs about people who are significant in your lives.
Forget
it's not real, it's not real. But how can I face the truth when I deny that it is? We have a song called The Aftermath, and so I was kind of bored at home. I wanted to record. I didn't really have any more songs to do pre-production for, so I took the first few or the first section of lyrics from this song, and I went to my house, kind of messed around on my recording software, replicated The Aftermath instead of the full band, kind of doing it like piano style, and just recording my voice over it, all singing. So all of Nick's screaming parts, I recorded myself singing over it, just to kind of give it a cool melody. And my original plan was just to record a full version of this song in this manner, but I only finished up to that point, and I went ahead and showed the guys as a demo, and they loved it, which was pretty cool. And instantly, I think it was either Will or Nick said, "Oh, we're putting down the album. We're keeping that." It's pretty much essentially the same, the same way that I had it on my original demo track, except we have guitars in the background now. And actually, in the back of this song, they let me record some guitar parts for it. So I got to record a little bit of some accent notes. And, it was fun.
The Aftermath was the first real single we released with our new singer, and it is a very powerful song because it's all about the concept of coping with death. And it doesn't have to be coping with your own death, but the death of those around you.
In my life, I've dealt with a lot of death. In the past 6 years, I've lost 52 people. There were times in my life when I would use these people's deaths and I would make them about myself. Not maybe in the way that you think I'm talking about, but more in the sense that I would use it to get attention, whether it was negative or positive. And it was, the whole opening part of that is about me criticizing myself for that. My whole cynical outlook on life that was, brought on by the amount of death I've experienced. The fact that there was a point where I just couldn't have a conversation with people just because I felt like I couldn't get close to them at all. Being okay with the fact that sometimes things in life are going to happen that you don't like. And that's okay. And sometimes we just need to accept that and move on and just grow from it and be the best human being that we can be.
Right. There's a point in the song where it starts saying, all my transgressions are far away, but I've never been led astray. At that point, I really wanted to start transitioning to the part afterwards, the softer part. So I added some octaves over top of it just to kind of give it a really cool feel. And that line where it says, "I will never be free, maybe I will never see." Those words carry a lot of weight. Maybe I will never see. I wanted to make that part just absolutely explode. So, I didn't plan. I didn't really have anything pre-planned for this song. So I held that last note out C just as long as I possibly could. And as soon as as soon as I finished tracking and heard in the headphones, I heard everyone in the other room. They were all listening to me. It was really cool to hear everyone's reaction to my headphones, just absolutely freaking out. Oh my God, he hit that note. He held it out that long, kind of yelling at me. And it was a cool feeling. Ever since then, we've kind of dubbed that our super note. And almost every one of our songs, I try to add a super note in there just because it's fun. And I have melody is always something that means a lot to me. That's always something that I try to incorporate no matter what I do. I have a background as a guitarist, like a lead guitarist. So I'm used to thinking about melody beforehand. So pretty much anytime I hear something in my head, whenever I'm writing or recording or singing, usually I trust my first instinct. The first thing I hear in my head usually is going to be something I'm going to go with. And with this song, every melody you hear, any variation I've made on it, that was all the first thing that popped in my head, and I'm going to stick by it. And that's kind of what I do with every song.
It has a really catchy line that really serves more purpose than you would expect it would. And it's, "I've lost so many and loved too few. It makes you wonder who would die for you." And it's not a popularity contest of, I have this many people who would die for me. It's like the people who you touch, whether they tell you or not, they feel what you've led them to feel. And if you've led someone to the point of where they'd be willing to give their life for you, I think that's ultimately one of the biggest things you could ever do for someone. Hopefully that time never comes, but if it ever did, like, how would you feel guilty or would you feel proud?
Who have changed the lives? So tell me, scarce what's stopping you? Let's go, the lesson faith.
Destroyer is a song all about my dick. Destroyer is a song all about leaving the old you behind. And it's really fun. It's just this fast-paced, bumping song. It's really like the first song of its caliber on the album that really just, it takes you out of that laid-back, ambient feel, and we just kind of throw the concept of 3 guitars to the side and just get in your face. There's just these dirty-ass riffs, and there's these heavy parts, and it's not just like chugging. That doesn't have to make something heavy. It can just be heavy, and it's this fast song, and it's so much fun to play on drums. It's just literally non-stop. And it's a really good back and forth between the singing and screaming. It's not so much of our working together ambient. It really takes a role on our aggressive side with the album.
You know, initially there wasn't very many vocals on it for me to do. You know, I was kind of like, oh, you know, this will be really easy to record. There's really nothing I have to do on it. But, you know, looking back, we wanted to add more of me in that song. And, you know, I try to take a lot of different influences. And this one really was not my normal style. So, you know, I've been kind of, I like to keep my mind open. I like to listen to a lot of different artists and different, you know, musicians, and you know, I think it's important to keep your mind open to listening to everything, and whether you like it or not, you know, you can learn something from anything.
Destroyer is a song about getting sober. It's a song about a turnaround as a human being. It's a song about a psychic change. It's a song about the complete decimation of who I used to be, the person that I'm not proud of, but I do not regret. You know, there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of hate that exists in the world that we live in today. It upsets me that exists, and I will always do whatever I can to change that and show people that caring human beings still exist. And Destroyer, you know, through me getting sober personally, I don't frown upon anyone that uses drugs or alcohol. You gotta do what you gotta do. But by me getting sober, I found out who I really was as a human being. And in finding out who I was as a human being, I started to notice that I could not stand intolerance. I can't stand intolerance. It's unacceptable on any front. You shouldn't be hating on anybody, not tolerating someone because they're different, because they're weird, because they're skinny, fat, tall, short, whatever. There's no reason to be intolerant ever. There's no reason. But even religion, I don't care. I don't care if you're Jewish and someone's Islamic. I don't care if you're black and someone's white. It's absurd. We are human beings. We're all connected by atoms, literally. And we need to love each other and put out the vibes to love each other. And that's what I try to encompass in Destroyer. I'm trying to destroy those prejudices. You know, there's all these prejudices against promiscuous women, promiscuous men, liars, cheaters, drug addicts, alcoholics. But 90% of us have been one of those things. I mean, at least 90% of, you know, the people that I know. Maybe they're not the best people. But, you know, we're all guilty of something in life. No one here is scot-free. And anyone can change. Anyone can change. I am a living, breathing example that anyone can change. And if you don't think you can change, then you're wrong. You can change. Music won't save your life. Individuals won't save your life. You will save your own fucking life, and you will be the one that's responsible for making you into a better person.